The World Cup just got 50% bigger, and almost nobody actually understands how it works. 48 teams, 3 countries, 104 games, and a format so new, half the fans watching this summer are going to be figuring it out in real time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break down the entire 2026 World Cup. Groups, knockouts, all of it, using one simple picture in your head. By the end of this video, you'll understand the tournament better than most people sitting in the stadium. And stick around, because there's one weird rule buried in this format that could actually let a team sneak into the knockout rounds without playing well at all. Let's get into it. Section 1. The big number. For 20 years, the World Cup was 32 teams. 8 groups of 4. Simple. Everyone understood it. Not anymore. This year, it's 48 teams. That's 16 more countries than usual, all showing up at once. In theory, that just means more soccer. In practice, it means FIFA basically had to rebuild the entire format from scratch. You know the type of change that sounds small on paper but actually breaks everything? This is that. Section 2. 3 countries, 1 tournament. Here's the part that makes 2026 different from literally every World Cup before it. It's not happening in one country. It's jointly hosted by 16 cities, 11 in the United States, 3 in Mexico, and 2 in Canada. Wikipedia 3 nations, 1 trophy. It's the first World Cup to be hosted by 3 nations ever. Mexico's actually hosting for the 3rd time, which nobody else has done. Canada's never hosted before at all, so for them this is a very big deal. Wikipedia. This sounds like a logistics nightmare. It kind of is. Teams are flying between 3 countries during a single tournament. But it's also why this World Cup feels bigger than any before it. Section 3. The groups. Okay, here's where you actually need the picture in your head. Instead of 8 groups of 4 teams like before, we now have 12 groups of 4 teams. Picture 12 little 4-team pods, each playing a mini round robin among themselves. Wikipedia. Every team faces each of their group opponents once. Win, you get 3 points. Draw, you get 1. Lose, you get 0. Add up the points after 3 games, and that's your final group standing. FIFA. This part is simple. It's the next part where it gets interesting. Section 4. The Trapdoor Rule. Normally, only the top 2 teams in a group move on. That's how it's worked forever. Not this year. The 2 teams with the most points in each group progress automatically. But then FIFA takes the 8 best third-place teams from across all 12 groups and lets them in too. FIFA Wikipedia. Read that again. You can finish 3rd in your group, not even 2nd, and still make the knockout rounds. This is the loophole I promised you earlier. A team could lose a game, draw a game, scrape together a handful of points, and still sneak through if the other groups were rough enough. It's basically a wildcard system hiding inside a group stage. Ruthless if you're a favorite. A lifeline if you're an underdog. Section 5. How they break the ties. So what happens when teams are tied on points? FIFA's got a checklist for that. First, they look at points earned specifically in the games those tied teams played against each other. Then goal difference in those same head-to-head games. Then total goals scored. It keeps going down the list until someone separates. FIFA. In theory, this is fair. In practice, it means the last match day of the group stage can turn into pure chaos, with fans doing math in real time to figure out who's actually qualifying. Section 6. The knockout rounds. Once the group stage wraps, here's where the real elimination starts. Once the bracket starts, it's straight single elimination. Round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, 3rd place playoff, and final. Footy kits battle. The round of 32 is brand new. It didn't exist before 2026. It's basically an extra layer added specifically because there are more teams now, and someone has to get cut before the bracket gets small enough to feel normal again. And if a knockout game is tied after 90 minutes, it goes to extra time and then penalties if it's still level. No draws allowed once you're in the knockouts. Somebody has to lose. Footy Kits Battle. Section 7, the price of winning it all. Here's a detail almost nobody talks about. Because of that extra knockout round, the team that lifts the trophy this year will have played one more match than any champion in the last several tournaments. Wikipedia, more teams, more rounds, more games to survive. In theory, that just sounds like a longer road. In practice, it means fatigue, injuries, and squad depth are going to matter more this summer than they ever have before. The teams with actual bench strength, not just star players, have a real advantage here. The payoff. So here's the entire 2026 World Cup in one sentence. 48 teams, split into 12 groups. We're finishing it. Third can still save you, feeding into a brutal single elimination bracket that demands one more win than ever before. That's it. That's the whole format. And honestly, this might be the most forgiving group stage in World Cup history and the most unforgiving knockout stage. A team can survive a bad week and still find a way through. But once you're in that bracket, there's no more room for excuses. So here's my question for you. With third-place teams getting a real shot at glory this year, do you think we're about to see the biggest underdog run the World Cup has ever had? Drop your prediction below. And if this actually made the format click for you, hit subscribe. I break down the biggest moments of this tournament all summer long.